Well, as we start this show, we're going to start talking field hockey. Obviously, that was the big story during the weekend. And with that, we welcome in the head coach of the women's field hockey team in her 30th season, the golden season for Sally Starr. Coach, thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, Coach.
Thank you very much. Thanks
Good
for
to see you,
having me.
Sally.
Thank you.
Well, again, first off, just congratulations, 30 seasons. That's an unbelievable accomplishment, and certainly you look back and do you remember all the other seasons right now?
Well, bits and pieces, but I've been really blessed to work at a great university. I've had quality student athletes over the 30 years, great support with assistant coaches, administration, so I feel very blessed to be starting my 30th season.
And what a way to start it with 2 wins over in the Capital Land Classic out in Albany. What did you notice from those first 2 games that obviously you're happy about, and what things you have to work on right off the bat?
Well, I was really happy with how we competed, and particularly back-to-back games. Our game on Sunday is very much conditions like we have today, and I just was really pleased with how we competed. And 2 very quality teams that we played against. We're still young in many ways, and I was really pleased to come home with 2 wins.
I think it's interesting. You look at the first game, obviously it was a 3-0 shutout where the defense dominated all the way through. And then in the second game, your leadership showed up, certainly with Nicole Von Ostrom, who only a sophomore but has a lot of experience getting the game-winning goal as well. You've got to be happy with seeing that this team can win in a multitude of ways as well.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's a mentality to have no time left on the clock, a tied game. We've been doing that. We did that against Stanford at the end of the season last year to tie it, to go into overtime. We did it a lot this spring and some of our spring contests. So that's a really great sign about our maturity and confidence that we have as a team, that we know that we can put the ball in the net when we need to.
Not to mention I guess you can say a breakout performance, but I'm guessing it wasn't that breakout for you, as watching Andrea Green, her first 2 games after transferring from the Universidad Diego Portales in Chile. How impressed were you with her?
Well, Andrea is an absolute excellent hockey player, but even more importantly, she brings wonderful intangibles to our team.
Yeah.
She's a great personality, great person, great work ethic. And I was not surprised at all by her goal scoring this past weekend. So.
And also experience in goal is something that is invaluable to any team. And you have it this year with the returning starter.
Yep, with Amanda Smith in goal. And we also have Julie Collins, who's had a very good summer and is playing very well for us as well. But having a 5th-year senior in goal as your starting goalie, a lot of maturity, a lot of confidence, and it definitely brings a lot to our backfield.
Well, Bernie is the good cop. I guess that has to make me play the bad cop. What do you think is the question mark right now after 2 games? What things do you automatically think that there's something that you can improve on right now?
Well, at this time of year, there's a lot of things that we can improve on for sure.
Good coach's answer right there.
And we're still young in many ways. You know, we have 3 seniors starting, 1 junior starting, so we're still very bottom heavy with a lot of young players, actually sophomores, 2nd-year players. But I think that we definitely have the ingredients to be very, very, very good, and we're looking forward to progressing each practice and each game. But we got a lot of work to do for sure right now.
So right now, as a coach, you're just looking for them to be able to get games in, just really get that experience level up right now.
Get the experience, get more consistent in all areas of game, our defending, our transitional play, holding the ball, cutting down on unforced turnovers, those type of things.
Now, I want to talk about last year. We got a chance to talk with you, and one of the words that was used was kind of inconsistency at times. There were a couple 3-game losing streaks last year. Obviously, you were still able to roar up and win the America East Championship. Do you feel like the way this team started, it looks a lot better than it did last year even?
Yeah, absolutely. We have, we returned a lot from last year, a lot of experience. We had a really good spring. Those 3-game losing streaks a lot of times was because we had a really tough schedule
right,
as
absolutely.
well. And it was that tough schedule that really allowed us to roar at the end of the season. So, but we're really, focused this year with a lot of good maturity, leadership to take it 1 game at a time and then improve every practice and see where we are.
Well, the reason I asked that question, you kind of just mentioned the fact is that, once again, you've made another tough schedule for this team. I mean, obviously, you get to the America East Championship last year. You play in the playing game in the NCAA tournament. But this year, you're playing Boston College, Connecticut, Michigan State, and then dealing with 2 field hockey powerhouses in Old Dominion and Duke as well. Obviously, you want them to get experience. They're going to get some great experience this season again.
Yeah, and that really helps us to prepare for postseason play. It's a very challenging game, and the tougher your competition and more types of things you see tactically. So it really helps us to prepare to be successful in the postseason, not only in the America East, but we want to compete successfully in the NCAA tournament.
You've won 4 out of the last 5 America East Championships, expected to win the America East Championship again this season. Were you surprised at all by that, even though there is youth, or were you kind of figuring that's how America East would play out?
Well, I really was a little surprised by that because I really think America East is getting stronger and stronger every year.
Yeah.
Maine is stronger than ever. University of New Hampshire, Albany, Vermont is adding more to their program, and Fairfield as well. So there's much more parity in our conference than ever before, and I really expect a very competitive conference again this year.
30 years is quite a body of work, Sally. And I can, as with Neil, you know, I'm old enough. I remember all 30, just like with Neil, 26. I mean, you're kind of following in the footsteps of your mentor in the athletic department. You're all kind of nipping at the heels of Jack Parker, who's getting close to 40 years right now.
Don't remind him of
Yeah,
that.
it's a pretty amazing, pretty daunting when you think about it.
Well, I think it speaks well to the university. I mean, to retain coaches for as long as they've retained Jack and Neil and myself, and then there's Carl with wrestling and other coaches as well. I just think it speaks well to the university because we're very happy coaching here, and you can really say to a student athlete that you're going to have a quality education and athletic experience. So that really helps a whole lot.
So, Coach, we're making a movie and starring this coach who's celebrating her 30th season. Bernie is directing it, so who knows what it's going to. I don't know if he's more,
ending.
I don't know if he's like
Scene.
Martin Scorsese or what, but we'll figure that out. But how would you like to write the end of this script for this season?
Well, we'll take off after my last name, Starr, and I really do believe that we have the ingredients to compete far into the NCAA tournament. I'd like to see a Final Four in my 30th year.
Do we have to change the spelling, or can we
appropriate.
keep Starr with 2 R's?
You can keep it
Okay,
2 R's.
perfect. Well, the Terriers will obviously travel to Providence on Friday night, but your first home game coming up this weekend as well. It must be exciting to be able to play on Jack Berry Field again.
It'll be great to be back at Jack, and I think that it's also a breast cancer awareness game. We're going to be wearing pink. I don't know how well that's going to blend with our red skirts.
You got to save Bernie one. You got to save him one.
But, you know, it'll be an exciting game against University of Massachusetts, and we hope to have a good home crowd out here to support our first home game.
Coach, thanks so much for joining us as well. Good luck this weekend.
Best of luck.
And then, as she mentioned, the first home game of the season coming up this Sunday against UMass at 1 p.m. It is Breast Cancer Awareness Day, so if you have any pink shirts, make sure you wear it, or else come to the game and get one as well.